The biggest mistake people make is assuming Social Security works like a simple average of all the years you worked. That assumption is completely flawed. The system is not linear, it is selective and progressive. The Social Security Administration does not average your entire career. It specifically takes your highest 35 earning years, adjusts them for wage inflation, and divides that total by 420 months to calculate your average indexed monthly earnings. That alone dismantles the fear that retiring early automatically destroys your benefit. Most people have weak income years early in life, and those years are already dragging down the average. Removing a few later years does not automatically collapse your benefit, because the formula has already discounted those earlier lower earnings and adjusted everything through indexing. Then comes the part most people completely misunderstand. The benefit formula is designed to compress outcomes. Social Security uses a progressive structure with bend points, where the first portion of income is replaced at a much higher rate than the later portions. That means additional earnings, especially in higher income brackets, have diminishing impact on your final benefit. So when someone retires at 55 instead of continuing to work into their 60s, yes, they lose some high income years. But those years are not fully counted anyway. They are partially credited at reduced percentages. That's why real-world calculations often show a relatively small difference, sometimes just a couple $100s per month. The system is intentionally structured to reduce inequality, not reward endless work. The real risk is not early retirement. It's retiring early without understanding your earning structure. The first rule is simple and unforgiving. If you do not have 35 years of earnings, the system fills the missing years with zeros. Those zeros are directly included in the calculation and permanently reduce your average. There is no adjustment or correction. That's where early retirement becomes dangerous. If someone only has 30 years of work history, 5 income years are inserted into the formula, significantly lowering the final benefit. This is one of the few situations where retiring at 55 can have a serious financial impact. On the other hand, if someone already has 35 solid earning years, the situation changes completely. At that point, continuing to work becomes a strategic decision rather than a requirement. Additional years can replace earlier low-income years and slightly increase the benefit, but the increase is often modest due to the progressive formula. The key issue most people ignore is the trade-off. You might work several additional years and only gain a relatively small monthly increase. The decision then shifts from fear to optimization. It becomes a question of whether the incremental gain is worth sacrificing time, flexibility, and quality of life. Social Security feels complicated not because it is advanced, but because it is layered in a way most people never fully examine. The first layer is wage indexing. Every year of earnings before age 60 is adjusted to reflect current wage levels, meaning earlier income is effectively scaled up to today's dollars. This prevents older earnings from being undervalued. However, once you reach age 60, this adjustment stops. Earnings after that point are counted at face value. This creates a subtle but important effect. Earlier years are boosted while later years are not. As a result, continuing to work into your 60s does not always produce the dramatic increases people expect. After indexing, the system selects the highest 35 years, totals them, and divides by 420 months to calculate the aim. That figure is then applied to the primary insurance amount formula, which uses bend points to determine how much of your income is replaced. For example, in recent calculations, the first portion of income is replaced at 90%, the next portion at 32%, and any remaining portion at 15%. This structure explains why people with very different lifetime earnings can end up with similar benefit levels. The formula compresses outcomes and reduces the marginal value of higher earnings. Understanding this math changes how you think about retirement timing entirely. Maximizing Social Security is not about working as long as possible. It is about improving the quality of your 35 highest earning years. The system rewards replacement, not just duration. If earlier years in your career were low income, replacing those years with stronger earnings can increase your benefit. However, the impact depends on where those earnings fall within the formula. Earnings in the lower range have a much larger effect because they are replaced at a higher percentage. Earnings in the higher range contribute less due to the reduced replacement rate. This means chasing higher income late in your career often produces smaller gains than expected. The second major lever is timing. Claiming benefits early reduces the monthly amount significantly, while delaying benefits increases it through annual credits. The increase is roughly 8% per year for delaying beyond full retirement age up to age 70. That difference compounds over time and can create a much larger lifetime benefit if you live long enough. But this is where most people make another mistake. They ignore the break-even point. Delaying only pays off if you live into your late 70s or 80s. The optimal strategy is not universal. It depends on health, financial resources, and overall retirement planning. Social Security is not just a math problem, it is a timing decision tied to real-life uncertainty. There is a tendency to overreact to monthly differences without understanding the full financial context. A difference of around $200 per month may seem significant, but when you break it down annually, it is roughly $2,400 to $2,600. Over a long retirement, that can add up to tens of thousands of dollars. However, when compared to total retirement income, investment returns, or inflation over time, the impact becomes less dominant. The average Social Security benefit sits within a relatively narrow range, meaning most people are already operating within constrained income levels. That makes the marginal difference meaningful but not transformative. The bigger issue is how people frame the decision. Social Security was never designed to fully replace income. It replaces only a portion of pre-retirement earnings, and that percentage decreases as income rises. Yet many people treat it as the central factor in deciding when to retire. That approach is fundamentally flawed. The correct way to evaluate the situation is to look at total financial independence, not just one income stream. If someone is in a position to retire at 55, the small reduction in Social Security should not dominate the decision. The real question is whether the additional years of work provide enough value to justify the time lost. Most people spend decades worrying about Social Security without ever understanding how it really works. Now you do, and that alone puts you ahead of the majority making decisions based on fear instead of facts. If this helped you see your retirement differently, hit like, subscribe to Social Security Post, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's coming next. And if there's something you're still unsure about, drop your question below. That's exactly what this channel is here for.